With the dental lab. The dental lab.
That's what my son's doing that job. Yeah, my son's
That should be a big house.
that's my son's company.
And they're adding that on to the dental lab building.
Whatever he's doing. Yeah, and then they're gonna build a earth. They're gonna put an in-ground pool out back. Yeah, it's a nice property. I just can't believe over $500,000. That's just great. So I
know. His son, Bill, his son, you said your son,
that's my son's
is building that house.
That's my son's company.
It's massive.
Yeah, it's a, they're tying all those that are there, they're tying them all together.
The question I have for Bill was, going to be aesthetically pleasing, like it's going to look old.
Yeah, well, I don't know.
Well, you could put clapboard siding on
I
it.
have no idea what they're doing. Yeah, I'm sure they're spending a lot of money. So I'm sure.
Oh, I know they are. I've watched them do all that a lot of times because they just get information.
I can't listen to those
Yeah.
activities live now.
Yeah, appreciate it. Yeah, thanks.
What's your team? Well,
We all have those calls.
Right, yeah. Whereabouts are they across the road?
So you know what I say, Doc? You know, if you don't get sick when your family members get sick, there's not enough love in the house. There you go. That's what I said to my daughter and my when my daughter got sick.
Yeah, that's my son was sick all the time. I'm starting to feel a little bit myself.
Oh yeah.
I love the salad.
Good evening, everyone. We're going to get the meeting started. Can we all rise for the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Again, good evening. Good to see everybody. So, item 3 of the agenda. We did not have an executive meeting today. Our solicitor we were working with, got stuck in Florida, I believe, and could not make it back. And we're pleased to have Barb Zemlock here, who's going to be representing us as our solicitor from the same firm. So just want to make that point. Item 4 on the agenda is election of chair of the board. And for that, I'm going to turn the meeting over to Barb Zemlock.
Thank you, sir. So we have a vacancy in the position of chair. And at this time, I call for nominations for the position of chair. Are there any nominations?
Madam Chair, I would like to nominate John O. Campbell as the next board chair of the Lower Paxton Township Board of Supervisors.
Is there a second for that nomination?
I'd like to second it.
Are there any other nominations? Any other nominations? Hearing none, the nominations are closed.
Just a point of order. Will there be public comment at this time?
Generally, during the reorganization, we do not have public comments.
Okay. I know that you made that statement last week, so
Correct.
I'm directing everything to the chair at this point. In a previous meeting of similar situation last year, May 6, 2025, a reorganization meeting was held. And at that time, public comment was allowed before any vote, actually before any nomination was even taken for a chair. So I just want to know if you're going to follow the same procedure as has already been laid out and been followed in the past and has set precedents, and give anybody a chance to speak on this at this point.
Okay, as I said.
Well, I know
General-
you said, but you're not the
Correct.
chair right now. She
Correct.
is, and she's representing the firm that represents the township. So
Yes.
I would like to hear from her.
Yes, thank you, sir. So I was advised that the procedure that we're going to follow tonight is consistent with Robert's rules, which was to do what I just did, which was to ask for nominations, ask for a second, ask for nominations 2 more times, and then close the nominations as I just did, and then take a vote.
Okay, if that's your position, that's what it is. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. So the nominations are closed. There's been a nomination and second for Mr. Campbell as chair.
And we'll do a roll call. Shelley will do the roll call.
Yep.
Mrs. Lindsay?
No.
Mr. Campbell?
Yes.
Dr. Stewart? Yes. Ms. Scheib?
Yes.
Ms. Thompson?
The motion carries. Mr. Campbell will assume the role of chairman. Congratulations. And now with the position of chairman filled, there is now a vacancy in the position of vice chair, and I'll turn the meeting back over to the chair to fill that vacancy.
Thank you, Ms. Zemlock. So there is a vacancy of vice chair. At this point, I will take nominations for the position of vice chair.
Chair, I'd like to nominate Supervisor Kate Shives as Vice Chair.
I second that nomination. The nomination has been moved and seconded. And again, we will take a roll call vote. Shelley?
Mrs. Lindsay?
No.
Mr. Campbell?
Yes.
Dr. Stewart?
Yes.
Ms. Scheib?
Yes.
Ms. Thompson?
Okay. So based upon the results, Supervisor Scheib is the vice chair of the board. Now on to items 6 and 7. There is no change in the position of secretary with Supervisor Lindsay in that position. There is no change in the position of treasurer as Supervisor Scheib is in that position. There is no change in the assistant secretary or assistant treasurer position as Supervisor Stewart is in those positions.
Can I just ask a question, please? Is it legal to hold 2 positions on the board?
So it is my understanding that holding the treasurer position and the vice chair is not inconsistent with the second-class township code. However, what I will do is take that issue back to Attorney Hall, and if there is a concern with that, and he has a concern with it, I'll be certain that it's raised at the next meeting.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Item number 8, approval of the minutes of January 5th, 2026, reorganization and business meeting. Do I have a motion to accept those minutes?
I'll make a motion to accept the minutes from the January 5th, 2026 Board of Supervisors reorganizational meeting.
Thank you. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Any discussion? Okay, hearing none. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Okay, the ayes have it. Item number 9 on the agenda is the ceremonial oath of office to Albert Jake Flowers as a fire policeman. And I'd like Mr. Kashiba to come forward. Thank you, sir. I state your name.
I,
do solemnly swear that I will support, obey, and defend the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, and that I will discharge the duties of fire police officer for the Township of Lower Paxton Township with fidelity. Congratulations, sir.
Congratulations.
All right, congratulations, Jake. Congratulations, man. Okay, item 10 on the agenda, public comment. And again, please keep your public comments to 5 minutes or less. As I stated last week, if there are questions, we will do the best we can to answer your questions. If we cannot, we will take your question under advisement and get you an answer.
Anthony Cristillo, 3940 Walnut. First comment is, this board had a chance tonight to do the right thing for the residents of this township by electing Robin Lindsay as chairperson. That would have showed us how serious you are in doing the right thing for this township. So we're disappointed. My other comment is, I find it troubling that David Dowling, 35 years on the zoning board, 20 years as chairman of that board, lifelong resident of Lower Paxton Township, a lawyer, just deep roots in this township, was removed from the zoning board with a letter from Pamela Thompson when she was still a chair. And put on the board was Charles Stewart's son-in-law.
Mr. Cristel, let me just correct that, right? His term expired.
Okay.
Okay, let's be
All right.
clear about that.
Charles Stewart's son-in-law is now on the zoning board, who's, from what I understand, he's just new to this township. I don't know any experience that he has, qualifications. And it's just a bad look that a brand new supervisor's family members on the board. I would love to know the qualifications. My third and final item. Last week I'd asked you, John, about Pamela Thompson having an office in this building. You said you had to look into it. You've had a week to look into it. What'd you find out?
I will answer that during the supervisor's comments.
Okay, my last comment and question, is this board working with Robin and including her in meetings?
All the supervisors work together on every issue.
Excuse me? There was a press release that went out in January, and I'd okayed it because it had my name in it. To find out that it got edited by one of the supervisors sitting here, and I never saw it, again, my name. I brought up last week about the resolution that went out to the public before I even saw it, and my name was on it again. And I understand that some of the supervisors are meeting with outside people about the Colonial Park Mall. People ask me what's going on with the Colonial Park Mall. I have to tell them I don't know because I haven't been privileged to outside meetings with the supervisors that I have not been told.
John, is that Is that how this
So
board
is
works?
So, Mr. Costello.
Is that working with a
Let
supervisor?
me be clear. This is not a Q&A session.
Okay.
Okay?
All right. Well, you said earlier that you
have-
would answer the questions to the
if I
best of your
can.
knowledge.
Correct. So we will.
So if that's working with a supervisor, one of your team members.
we will respond to your question at a later date.
Okay.
This is not a Q&A session.
You know,
It's public comment, sir.
you guys need to get it together for the township. It's not a Democrat or Republican issue. I keep saying it every day. It's not. And Charles, you can cover your face all you want.
Mr. Costello.
No, excuse me.
No, Charles. Supervisor Stewart, no. Please do not make your comments personal.
They're not personal.
They are personal, okay?
I think I speak
No
for
personal
most of the
There will be
township.
no personal comments from this dais,
That's all I have.
and there'll be no personal
Looking
comments
forward
at
to your
that table.
answers.
Okay, other public comments. Please state your name and your address.
Hello, my name is Karen Hargis. I've lived in Lower Paxton Township for 50 years. 40 of those years have been in my home. I'm coming because I had watched the meeting a couple of weeks ago and we discussed the snow, and I know this is not a very pleasant conversation. My concern is that I know I am responsible to make sure that the sidewalk is clear within a certain amount of time, and I do that faithfully. Sometimes I'm out 2, 3 in the morning making sure I can get it done. And then, of course, the township, they come along, and all that snow that's out in the street, it goes back onto my sidewalk. And that snow is mixed with something else, and it's so hard to move. I have no place to put it. I'm not allowed to put it out in the street, but I don't have any place in my front yard or on the side. So it was really a struggle for me to get that done. But then I noticed that in the fall, the leaves, if we want our leaves to be taken away, we had to bring them out, put them at the curb, and then a truck comes along, and it has a big, I don't know.
Vacuum.
Thank you. It has a big, and it sucks up all the leaves, and then he takes the leaves away. He doesn't put the leaves back in my yard. So I'm wondering, isn't there something that the same system can be used when we have a snowfall? That maybe there's a truck that will suck everything up and you can take it to, I don't know, some lot or something where no one is using it, and to get rid of some of the snow, because it's getting difficult to do that. And I know if I don't get out there and get rid of that snow that the township put back on my sidewalk, I can be cited. I don't know if I can be fined or not, but I know I can be cited for not taking care of my sidewalk, which I do all the time until the township comes and puts it back on. And I guess being a resident, I'm just kind of asking for help. I mean, no one is responsible for my sidewalk, but I'm hoping that this board can get together and maybe can come up with something that it can make it easier for us who have homes, who needs to take care of this, that we can handle it and manage it. It's getting very difficult to do that. They told me not to put the snow back in the street because it'll freeze and it could cause accidents. Okay, I don't do it. But then what do I do? So I'm just hoping that, normally I'm home watching this on TV, but I'm just hoping that all of you can get together and see if you can come up with something that can help me when we have these snowfalls. I would really appreciate it because I love living in Lower Paxton Township, and I would like to stay in Lower Paxton Township until I close my eyes. Then I have to worry about it. But for now, I'm just hoping and praying that all of you would get together and see if there's something that you can do that can help me. I don't know if anyone else feels this way. I can only speak for me. That can help me when it comes to the snow that the township puts back on my sidewalk after I've cleaned it off. I'm asking for help, so maybe you can come up with something and maybe share it with me at some point in time. I would really appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Hargis. Other public comments?
I came here for a specific reason, 2 reasons actually, the same ones I brought up before. However, based on earlier comments, I just want to add a couple of things. First, elections have consequences. This township elected the current Board of Supervisors. If this Board of Supervisors wants to put anyone on any board or commission, that's their right to do so. I happened to attend the PAL banquet last year. I met most of Dr. Stewart's family. I found them to be intelligent, articulate, and upright citizens. They may not have information about zoning board, but a lot of people get their experience by doing, and it's a good thing if a supervisor has someone that they know and trust to give them feedback about what's going on in the boards and commissions. I would also say the same thing about the election. Election have consequences. So Supervisor Lindsay mentions that maybe she's not in the in-group, yet Supervisor Lindsay also campaigned for all of you. I know she went door to door and tried to get you folks elected. I hope that any differences between or among you can be worked out. As my new friend Joe Gilloway said to me before the last election, he said, Alan, he said, it's not important who the supervisors are, it's important that the township gets the best service. So I'm here to ask you two questions. One, I've asked several times, it's about the fireworks. I will tell you that people oftentimes say that we live in a democracy. We don't. We live in a representative republic. And you all sitting up there are the representatives of all of us, the 55,000 people who live in this township. I mentioned that at the last meeting that there was a program made. And first I want to say again, Lincolnstown Volunteer Fire Company 35 for the excellent quality of the great program that they had for fireworks for all those number of years. I truly want to thank them and tell them that we appreciate their work. They're no longer part of this fireworks program. Therefore, it's no longer a requirement to keep the fireworks at Coons Park. There is an agenda out there developed by our public safety department to have the fireworks at George Park. Many of the safety issues, many of the security issues, many of other issues go away with that. And I just want to leave with this. To not make a decision assiduously that the topic of fireworks has not come up. It's pretty simple. Put it on the agenda and have a vote. But the subject, if you decide not to make a decision, in fact, you're making a decision, and that decision is no. And I think the residents of the township have a right and deserve to know who's for fireworks or who is not for fireworks, especially since we can get sponsors and the safety and security issues can be, for the most part, taken away based on the plan developed by our own safety department. The last thing I want to talk about is the economic development. A lot of people have been focusing on the Colonial Park Mall. I heard it brought up this evening. I just want to say this. We had an economic development person on staff, and they were unsuccessful in doing the many things that this township required. I don't know what the cost of such a person would be if you all decided to hire a replacement. I will tell you that the previous board had intended to hire an assistant township manager and economic development person. But what I want to focus on is not hiring somebody to do that job, but rather development of an economic development authority. Like our other boards and commissions, you can have a commission of upstanding citizens. Mr. Kessler, for example, would be a perfect person for that board. I don't want to volunteer you, Eric, but you made such a good presentation last week. There are people in this township that will do that job for you for nothing. You just have to take the initiative to create the organization and then to recruit people to serve on that board or commission or whatever you want to call it. That Economic Development Authority could look into things not only like the Colonial Park Mall, but a whole number of buildings and a whole number of empty vacant lots. And we get criticized all the time for all the vape shops and all these other things that maybe are annoyances to people. You know, we have a building right near the hospital that we could attract high quality tenants for that location with good paying jobs, and we're just not doing it. I will tell you again, not that this is anything you guys should do because you were elected. What I will tell you is that an economic development authority is something that the previous board was absolutely going to do. And I will tell you that there are people in this township, including the previous chair of this board, Laura Kurtz, who is specifically and uniquely qualified to be part of that and can help this township in so many ways in high quality economic development. Thank you for the time.
Thank you, Mr. McCormick. Other public comments?
Hi. I do not wish to forfeit.
I understand. I understand.
Okay. I do have a question. I'll address it to you since you're the board chair, but are any of the new supervisors, will they be attending the boot camp training that PSATS is putting on in March? Since you're all new to being township supervisors, any of the 4 new supervisors?
Yes. Matter of fact, we attended our first session last month, and we have 2 more sessions coming up, and I am looking forward to those boot camps.
Okay, and that's 4 of you then?
Okay, I need to interrupt. I went through the boot camps in 2014. I'm also a graduate of the Pennsylvania Municipal Graduate Academy through PSATS, which is 63 credits. It took me 2 years to go through that, all over the state, attending seminars, webinars. So I chose not to go. I contacted the PSATS when I got elected, and I asked, is there anything that I need to know? Was sitting here, was on Planning Commission for 5, the supervisors for 11. Is there anything that I need to go to that I might be missing because since I haven't been there in 2014, but still going to the conference, taking all the webinars and seminars down at the conference? And I was told no, that, that I was okay. So I did not go to the boot camps because I already did it. Did the Pennsylvania Municipal Government Academy also as a graduate.
Supervisor Lindsay actually thought I said 4, the 4 newly.
Well,
newer.
I was one that was elected with the other 3.
I guess I misspoke
I just wanted
on
to
that.
make sure.
I really was speaking to these 3 and to Mr. Campbell. The other thing I wanted to say was, because of that, there were some concerning social media posts, and again, I'll speak directly to you so that I won't, but these social media posts were made by a supervisor, have been being made by a supervisor, and they're very concerning to me. Because the first one I had read had said that people that I guess he didn't agree with or felt didn't agree with him were hiding behind social media. I can assure you I'm not hiding behind social media. You know more about me on social media than you do when I come and speak here. Then the next post said that people that came here were privileged. So I'm starting to say, are these dog whistles? What's happening here? Why? And then personal attacks against a member of our community that I'm not familiar with the gentleman. I met him last week, the same way I met this supervisor a year ago when he wasn't a supervisor. And I'm having concerns. Is this a personal Facebook page or is this a township Facebook page? Because he's representing himself as a Lower Paxton Township supervisor on the top of the page, but the comments made are really starting to concern me. They're personal, they're attacking in nature, and they chill your speech. So that's why I asked about the PSATS meeting, because there you would learn about constitutional issues and ethical issues and things that maybe shouldn't be happening, because those are concerning to me as a resident of this township.
I appreciate that.
That I would be afraid to speak out because of, retribution or being called names or, things of that nature. So that is what I wanted to address tonight.
Okay, so we'll look into that.
Thank you.
Thank you for your comments. Other public comments? Mr. Miller.
Hi, Bill Miller, 4311 Crestview. On your sidewalks, this snow we had was unique in that it was frozen, it snowed, it froze again. And I don't feel, and we have bridges that need sidewalks cleaned off and so on. There's equipment out there, but the township's going to have to look at it carefully. There are plows that elevate where you can scrape as you drive by. There are small walk-behind loaders. You don't need big skid loaders. You have a 2-stage high-speed pump. This is stuff I know. And we have to look at that. Will we use it every year? Some of the equipment with the attachments, you can use it on a lot of other projects year-round. And it was a tough snow to do, and snow got put in the wrong spots, but you got new guys. These things happen. And, you know, we can always, one of my statements is, hey, we can always do better, and it's something to look at, but I would prioritize looking at some unique equipment, like the sidewalks along Colonial Road, all that sidewalk I complained about that PennDOT won't do over by CD East High School. That could be done, drive down there and it's done. And because you couldn't shovel it, and people should not be fined. The ones that should be looked at would have been, and I was over at Best Buy, it finally melted off out on Linglestown Road. They never touched it. I feel that personally, the commercial entities, those businesses should be the ones that lead by example. People are going there and they need to walk there, and as many of you saw when you drove around, you saw the footprints in the snow of the walked areas, and it shows that people, I keep saying, we are an ambulatory township, and all that needs to be done. That's a whole nother deal. On Devonshire Heights Road, I haven't been out there yet. An individual that you all know, she remain unnamed, she didn't want me to mention her name, a tree fell off of a line and hit her son's car. She didn't call the police, figured it was insurance. We're back to the right-of-ways we talk about. There's a book allegedly that how much right-of-way do you have from the center of a state road onto the property, from a township road onto the property? How do you know if there was an AT&T, a Verizon, right-of-way given? There is a PPL right-of-way given. Who is truly responsible? And I think it's something at this point we got to look into, because as you drive around, you see this everywhere, and this is going to interfere with some of the sidewalk projects that we need to do. So how do we determine that? Who's going to write the letter? I don't think that anybody's car should be hit by a branch driving by that's been laying on a line for quite a while. We got Colonial Road done, and there's more to do. So that would be up to the township to figure that out. But I think you need to have a real plan moving forward to hold who is culpable. I mean, who should be doing it? Do you send a letter to the homeowner? Well, they can't do it. It's a big PPL line. It's a big tree. They're not, we got to work together and perhaps share the cost. But if it was trimmed regular, it would never get that way. So it's just lack of maintenance. The other thing it was mentioned about an economic development. I've used the word urban planner, and I've discussed it with some people here already. Can one person do both? You would then know what's happening all over the township, because that's the person that goes out there first. I did drive by through one of the malls over there by Target. Man, there's a lot of open space in there too. I didn't have time to count them all. I think we're at a crossroads here where an urban planner knows they're going to address these road issues we talk about. They're going to address these lines. They're going to address the interceptors you need. They're going to address the power, sidewalks, bike paths, and ways to improve that in the future. And they'll have an ultimate handle on everything. And then economic development, I think, would be second. But perhaps I've been told in school that one person could possibly do both of those. But we're at that juncture. We're huge. More people than anybody, and people keep moving in. And the urban planner would also know of all the other development projects going on in the township, lands that were just sold, lots of big parcels, lots of homes coming. I don't know, you have to be aware. Just to throw $100 million at CD High School and someone's hands in my pocket for that, well, we're all responsible for that. But there's a lot more land. There's a lot more projects coming, and that's going to affect us. And I'll end. There's projects also in West Hanover and in Dauphin involving a lot of housing, a lot of parcels. But then we're in one common pocketbook. It's the Central Dauphin School District, and I know they're working with us. We need to have a better liaison with them. And I really think you'd be shocked if you looked at all the numbers of all the homes that are going to be built and some other big parcels that have not yet been sold. That will become housing. So we have to look at the end. We're going to put $100 million. Why don't we put $300 million in the high school and get it done with? We have, as Mr. Kessler said, you got to look ahead 50 years. You can't look ahead 10. Thank you.
Mr. Miller, if I may, the meeting in March with PennDOT, I just want to let you know that one of the questions that we will be asking them is about the sidewalks on the bridges. Are we responsible? Are they responsible? So we really can't, as of now, don't have that answer. So that is on the list of questions for March when we meet with PennDOT.
I wouldn't mind if you threw in the Rutherford Road too, where the sidewalk's broken and lifted. If you drive by there from the apartments back down to Garden, it's terrible.
Yeah, we just have to figure out if they're homeowner a responsibility or if it's PennDOT
The
responsibility.
deed, it goes back to PDH. That's a PennDOT property. All that stuff that's not cut. The property is delineated by where the apartments, they cut that bank all the time. And where that line is, heading north up to Garden, that's PennDOT.
Okay.
That's their baby. It's under their name. Oh, wow, that's not ours. And I've questioned them. But it's not fair to those kids that walk to that school every day. They're the ones using that road. And it's just not right. And that's where that plow could come down and scrape it. They don't have to. We could scrape it.
Okay, well, we have a list, so I will add it.
Outstanding.
To the list.
Thank you.
Thank you for your comments, Mr. Miller.
Thank you, sir.
Other public comments?
Joe Lindsay, 6244 Overview Lane. I have a question, a general question. I know there was not any executive session, and the reason was we did not have a solicitor. Is that a requirement to have executive session?
I believe that is a requirement.
So
Well-
if I could jump in. Thank you. So I did talk to Attorney Hall about the executive session, and what he indicated was that they were working on these right-to-know issues, and this was something that could be deferred one more month.
Okay. I don't have a problem with that. But ladies and gentlemen, we have a lot more problems than the right to know. And I would think that if the chairman of the board would really want to get to some issues and start doing the job of leading for the benefit of the township, you could have had an executive session without a solicitor. Because I would assume the only purpose of having a solicitor is if you would have some legal issues that you would need to have some legal clarity on.
And that
We have, excuse
was
me,
the purpose of
this is
session.
public comment. If you have a little bit more time on the job, you know that. We have a lot of issues. You all have been on a board for 45 days, and you have done absolutely nothing. Nothing has been addressed in this township, and that is a shame. And everybody says, we're going to do this, and we're going to do that, and that's exactly what you did. You did this and that. I implore you, you that wanted these positions by running for public office and getting these positions tonight, it's now time to step up and prove that you're worthy. Because as of now, you've not proven one thing except you have personal agendas, and that's the only reason you're here. But you should be here representing the entire township. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Lindsay. Other public comments?
Kimberly Hershey at 146 North Arlington Avenue. I am here to find out exactly what is going to happen with the drainage issue. Pamela came out. She was the only one on the board that came out. And when I was here, the only meeting I was at, several of you guys were wanting to be on the board, okay? Vote for me, I'll get your street. Well, we were supposed to be, to my knowledge, having the Mr. Braxton's backyard drainage issue taken care of this spring, something at least tentatively. Now it's on 2026 late, okay? The man, I mean, we want to be able to enjoy our yards without all the mosquitoes, without all this stagnant water. I don't know what the big issue is about rotor-rootering the pipe that runs behind what used to be Life Touch and clean all the leaves and the pine needles out of it, and just connecting the two pipes so the water can go out that way and flood the guy who's on the other side of Alberton Avenue, because it'll flood his yard. But, you know, we want it taken care of. I mean, it's like we live in the slums. You know, you haven't touched our street. You know, I mean, now our street can get paved in 2027, but how come every street in the township after sewer and water is added, new sewer and water lines get paved, and ours never did. I mean, we are probably the shortest street in Lower Paxton Township. There's only 4 houses on it, but we can't get anything done.
Ma'am, if I may, I'm the liaison to the Public Works. The 4 new supervisors here were never informed about your street. That has not been forwarded to us at all. So that is why none of us have come out. So if you could give me that address again, I will get in touch with our Public Works Director first thing in the morning and see what we can do. But the 4 of us that came
Matthew
on
and
were
Kevin
never
are
informed.
already out. You know, Matthew and Kevin, but yeah, it's 146 North Arlington Avenue. I'm trying to get paperwork from you guys that say I have a parking lot in front of my house. The gentleman that had my house before me paid, and we encroached on the street because that's what the township told me, because I would constantly ask them, why is the right side of the road getting plowed and not the left side when there's 3 houses on the left and 1 on the right? You can use Google Maps and just look at the whole thing, okay? And they told me it's because you have a parking lot in front of your house. Okay, the gentleman beside me put in a parking pad right on the street, okay? So now the neighbor across the street, he just thinks it's part of the street, but it's not. It doesn't get plowed. This past snow, he pulled his car in his driveway. Mine's always at the end of my driveway because I have to dig a whole car length out, okay? I'm getting too old for this, okay? So that's where we put our cars, okay? The plow, because you got these new guys and they don't know any better, they plowed it. They even plowed, Pamela, they plowed the road that goes by the 3 houses, that's a driveway, because it's not an alley and it's not a street and there's 3 houses back there. He actually plowed them for them because, you know, it's just, we're just a forgotten street.
Mr. Gossard, would you like to add any comments to that?
I know today we had a meeting and a lot of the stormwater issues that you are addressing and many others were talked about as to when we're addressing them. We have about the next 3 years to 2028, a plan laid out, or that we're trying to lay out right now. It's about $6.5 million worth of stormwater work. We always run into that issue in the township where the water leaves the township road, and you know it's not our issue anymore. You know, we're and the same with snow. Once the snow's off the street, it's not our issue anymore. And our job is to make sure the water gets off our streets, does not stay on our streets, and that snow gets off our streets. So we are looking at this. We are working on various drainage issues and setting up different. What I saw today was just a lot of pipe going in the ground in various places to be moving water and working with our most significant problems at the moment.
Well, we found the pipe that runs the whole way behind what used to be Life Touch. So all we're asking is you connect the pipe that John Papandrea put in a long time ago when he lived there and just connect it to the original pipe that runs back that way. And then see if you can find where it comes out on Hollywood, because Hollywood is like a dump, that street, because everybody dumps their yard waste on the side where the water's supposed to drain. And you can't even see where the water's supposed to go out. So I can kayak in Mr. Braxton's backyard when we have heavy rains. And they told us that they would at least maybe put a speed bump up at the end of our street, a macadam speed bump or whatever, because they wouldn't do it until after the snow, so that the water on Elmerton Avenue goes down Elmerton Avenue and doesn't go into his backyard.
I've seen those roll curves before. That's a technique, that's a strategy.
But, you know, I mean, he'd be here tonight, but he has to go to work, so.
Okay. Thank you. Before the next speaker, Ms. Hodges just wants you to know that somebody will be, from the township, will be in contact with you to have a conversation about your situation in the snow, and just to talk about ideas and how we can, help you in your situation. Mr. Miller.
Brief comment on that. In my neighborhood, we don't have curbs. So I went out, I put about 20 some down around our pond. I put the fiberglass markers. I recommended everybody in the neighborhood of the 160-some homes to do the same, and some did. My point is that when the township comes out, they don't know where, some of these guys don't know where the road is, especially in this snow. I think it's incumbent upon the homeowner also to somehow delineate their property line. I asked everybody, put it back a foot. The guys know where to follow with a plow. If the township has a common area like a common pile area, then if a cul-de-sac, they should probably delineate those too. You know, it's not anything brilliant, I mean, but you have to have a place to put your stuff, but you have to know where you're plowing. When you're out there plowing for 20 hours or 24 hours, it gets old, and you need a guide. And I just think it might be something that we could induce people to do in the fall newsletter, add those little blurbs like plowing, doing the sidewalks, commercial, you know. People need constant reminders, not just one. You know, it's like teaching in a classroom. It's over and over and over. It's almost by rote. So that might help to, you know, get the blacktop, the paved area, or wherever, and get it done. At least it works for us. And then, lastly, then the township doesn't have to come back and replace all this sod and all this crap. Okay. I guess, and then on the mailboxes, some of these mailboxes that got hit, they certainly, I've seen them. They are not where they're supposed to be due to the postal regulations. So it's just something else to help. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Miller.
Hey, John.
I'm sorry. Go ahead, Mike.
I think one of the things you have to recognize with this storm is what we were expecting, not necessarily the amount of snow that we received, which was substantial for our area and for what we've experienced. But you also have to recognize what the temperatures were going to be the next week, and they were not going to go above freezing. They were actually going to stay within the 20s, in the teens. And quite honestly, the salt that we put down does not work at that temperature. So you have to deal with that. The other thing is, if you recall, there was a storm being predicted the next weekend, a potential storm the next weekend. So the way we attacked the storm was we pushed the snow back further than we typically would have, which would have gone on your sidewalks. We try and catch that balance where we don't put it on people's sidewalks, but we pushed it back more because if that next storm came, we needed room to put the snow back in, you know, to get the snow off the street. So with the temperatures that we were expecting, which they were correct in the forecast, the snowstorm, thank goodness, didn't come because that would have created even more problems. And yes, once you pile this snow up, you can't move it the next time around when you're moving it. So that was the strategy this time around, and we did get a lot of calls on sidewalks. But if you recall, most of our storms, they're quick hitters. They come in, and generally within a day or two or three, streets and the sidewalks are relatively clear. We knew for a fact that this storm that was not going to happen, so we prepared for it.
All right, other public comments?
Good evening, Board. My name is Tom Verneau, 28 Judy Lane. Just want to comment on a couple of things that I've heard here tonight and then something else as well. Supervisor Lindsay, you mentioned when talking about the street that you would contact the Public Safety Director in the morning. I hope you meant you contact
I meant Public Works. I'm sorry.
I'm sorry, Public Works Director.
Okay.
I would hope you mean the manager, because a supervisor contacting department heads directly has been a problem that the staff's been having to deal with for the past.
What I do, because I'm the liaison, I contact Mr. Goshard through an email with Matt copied on it.
Okay, but that's as long as the manager's involved.
Yep,
because
and anything I send through
bypassed
email, he is copied on that.
Managers being bypassed is not a good practice, as I'm
Yep.
sure you will agree. The other thing, and I want to give you kudos for canceling the executive session for not having a solicitor, because one of the things the solicitor does, in addition to weighing in on legal matters, is also to keep the board legal. As you know, as you're aware, there are very, very few things that can be discussed in executive session, and as three of you are new, I would not expect you to be familiar with all those. So the solicitor can keep you from veering off into those taboo areas. So thank you for doing that. Probably the last thing we need is, you know, another scandal with something that was discussed in executive session that shouldn't be. The third thing is in the topic of an economic development director. It was included a salary for a combination economic development director and assistant manager was in the draft budget. In fact, it was presented to the previous board in a budget meeting, a public budget meeting. My understanding is now that salary has disappeared. The money's gone elsewhere. And I think a comment was made last fall by Supervisor Thompson that she wanted to wait until the new board, if the new board was seated, before deciding which direction you wanted to go with economic development. That makes sense, but now you're all seated. Opportunities do not wait. You need to be ready to so please figure out what you're going to do with economic development and do it, move on it. So thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Vernell. Other public comments? Okay, hearing none, we will move on to chairman and board members' comments. So let me start off by saying, let me just deal with economic development, right? And, I'm excited that there's so much conversation about economic development going on because it's an important thing for the long-term growth and prosperity of the township, no question. So there's like a continuum, right? You can talk about an internal economic development operation, you can talk about advisory, you can talk about authority. It's a continuum, right? So it's where do you start? I want to inform you that I had a conversation, I was at a meeting today with our township manager, Mr. Gossert. Pamela Thompson was at that meeting as well, and other employees. We had the conversation about the strategy for economic development. We talked about what's the mission, what's the purpose, what do we want to get accomplished? I mean, it's easy to say, yes, we want to put somebody in that slot, but you have to have a sense of your strategy and what you want to ultimately accomplish. So I just wanted everybody to know that those conversations have started. And again, I'm pleased that it's on the top of everybody's minds. So there's a process. Let's work through this process of developing the strategy first, understanding where we want to go with this, right? We can't put the cart before the horse. Internally, as a township, we need to make sure that we cover our bases and make sure there's structure to what we're doing. Because if you don't, in my opinion, and I invite other supervisors to comment, if we don't do that, then it's a shallow effort, right? It'll be here today and gone tomorrow. So we have to structurally make sure that we're solid, right, and we have a direction of where we want to go. So that's economic development. So we are proceeding. It is a serious thing, and we're going to get that done, right? And really, seriously, hold us accountable for making sure we get that done. The other item I want to mention, at the last meeting, there was, at the public comments, it was the topic of supervisors' offices in the building came up. Let me just say, at this point, no supervisor has an office in the building, right? And that is the consensus of the Board of Supervisors. At the last meeting as well, there was a question about supervisors having unfettered access to the building. Let me just say, no supervisor has unfettered access to the building. We come in at this point. And again, that is the consensus of this board. We will be granted access as needed for meetings. We will be granted access for official business of the township, right? So those two things are done. I know there have been issues on that, and they're done. So we turn the page, and we're going to move on. The last thing I want to mention in my comments is that, I was privileged with Supervisor Lindsay, Supervisor Thompson to attend the groundbreaking, the opening, the ribbon cutting for Lumanti Banquet Hall and catering service. It was well attended. Other politicians were there, Justin Fleming and others. I was very pleased to be able to represent Lower Paxton Township. We all were, and I'll invite Supervisor Lindsay and Thompson to make those mentions as well. It's exciting to see a business getting started and having them know that the township supports them in that effort and to be successful. So those are my comments, and at this point, I'll open it up for other supervisors for comments.
Yeah, did attend that on Saturday. I want to congratulate them opening up in the township, and 3 young women are the owner of that banquet, Lamonti Banquet and Catering Service. Usually when we go to something like that, they do a ribbon cutting. This was definitely unusual. They do a cake cutting. So we were part of their hospitality, them having us there with the cake cutting. So again, welcome to Lamonte Banquet Catering Services coming to our township, and we wish them good luck.
Okay, other comments from supervisors?
I'm sorry, I want to
Sorry,
do that,
I'm
but I do.
sorry.
So we have a trap, neuter, and release program through the cats that we started many years ago. And Larry Wasser, who is our volunteer, sent out some statistics for 2021 through 2025. So we do vouchers. You can get your vouchers. They're free down at the township. And once you turn in that voucher when the cat is spayed or neutered, then they send us the bill. So from 2021 to 2025, we issued 1,366 vouchers. We paid, in those 4 years, we paid 874 vouchers, which meant that there were kittens that were avoided being, alive. Of 2,622. So our trap, neuter, and release program is definitely working. I thank you to all the volunteers, and especially to Mr. Wasser, because it takes a lot of time and his talents to run that TNR program. I want to thank everybody for their support the past couple of weeks since January 5th. And what did Terry Smith say when he didn't get the head position at Penn State? He said, "It's not about the title." Remember, I'm here for you. I'm here for everybody in this township. So thank you again for your support. I'm here, and you know how you can get in touch with me. I have a township cell phone through my email. I was involved for 16 years and looking forward to being quite involved for the next 4 years. So thank you again.
Other comments?
There's a young man by the name of Romeo Fleck. He was a student at Central Dauphin East. He joined the military and he's stationed at Fort Bragg. A couple days ago, Romeo's a friend of my son's who played with my son who played football for East. A couple days ago, Romeo was in a car with 2 other soldiers returning back to base. He had a car accident and he died. Out of 3 soldiers in the car, Romeo and 1 other soldier died during this accident. I'm going to ask for a moment of silence for Romeo Mason Fleck, former student, East High School, and a member of the Armed Forces of the United States. Thank you.
Any other supervisors' comments?
I'll save my comment for after something like that. I don't want to make any comment. This is a very somber moment, so I'll save it for next time.
Okay, thank you. All right, so manager's report. Okay, no report. Under new business, item 13. Item 13A, approval to hire Eric Morgan as Deputy Director of Public Works. Mr. Gossard, comments from you?
Yes, as you recall, the reorganization with the impending retirement of Bill Weaver, we are now rolling the utilities department up underneath, which is the sewer and storm sewer, up underneath Public Works. And we've created 2 deputy director positions. This is one of those deputy director positions. Mr. Morgan's been employed with the township since June of 2018. And formerly he was with a CET Engineering. We had 2 outstanding candidates for this position. Eric Morgan rose to the top. He presently holds the position of Construction Division Manager in the township, and this is a natural progression for him, and I asked the board to support this hire.
Thank you. So at this point, I will entertain a motion to hire Eric Morgan as Deputy Director of Public Works. Do I have a motion?
Mr. Chairman, I'll make a motion that we approve to hire Eric Morgan as the Deputy Director of Public Works.
Is there a second?
I second it.
Any discussion? Okay, hearing none. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
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 Any opposed? Okay, ayes have it. Congratulations, Eric Morgan. Item 13B, approval of request from the chairman of the Historical Commission to utilize the township solicitor regarding a land acquisition agreement. Do I have a motion? I would like to entertain a motion to approve the request.
So moved.
Thank you. Is there a second?
Shall second.
Are there any discussions? Okay, hearing none. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
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 Any opposed? Okay, ayes have it. Item 13C, approval of application for payment number 5 and 6 for Centennial Acres Park and Cole Memorial Park court improvements. Mr. Gossard, any comments you'd like to make on that?
No, just these have been reviewed and approved by our YSM, which is our consultant on this project. The payment app number 5 is in the amount of $41,223.30, and the payment number 6 is in the amount of $20,226.05.
Okay, thank you, sir. Do I have a motion to approve the payments?
Can I just ask a question? Are these the last payments, Mike, or no?
I don't believe so. I think there will be a retainer still.
Okay.
Okay, any other discussion? Okay, can I have a motion, please?
I'll make a motion for the approval of the application for payment 5 and 6 for Centennial Acres Park and Cole Memorial Park court improvements.
Do I have a second?
A second.
Any further discussion? All in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? You have the same right. The motion passes. All right, so we're at item number 14. Okay. Payment of bills. Supervisor Scheid.
Mr. Chair, I make a motion that we authorize the payment of bills as included in tonight's packet, amounts being for the Sewer Authority of $338,445.19, the township bills in the total aggregate of $686,860.80, and a number of smaller checks on demand, the total of which are less than $5,000.
Thank you for your motion. Is there a second?
I second.
Okay, the motion's been properly moved and second. Any discussion? All in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Okay, the ayes have it. So we're at item number 15, announcements. Any announcements?
Yes, at the bottom, Lower Paxton Township Authority will be meeting next Tuesday, and that date will be February the 24th, not the 25th. So it's Tuesday, the 24th at 7 o'clock in this room for the Sewer Authority.
Thank you. Any other announcements?
Yes, Mr. Chair, I would like to reiterate, last week I made the same announcement, but I'll make it again. Tomorrow night at 6 p.m. in this room, there'll be a public hearing for the Lower Paxton Township Community Development Block Grant 2026 program. Highly advise if anyone is interested in how these grants can be used. It's an annual entitlement. Come to the meeting. That's where it's discussed, and that's where your information and ideas can be heard. Thank you.
Okay, any other announcements?
Yes, I got an announcement from the Bureau of Police that the application process remains open until March 18th, 2026. No prior police experience is necessary to test. Those without prior experience may be sent to the police academy. Written and physical testing will take place on March 22nd and March 29th, 2026.
Okay. There being no other announcements, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn our meeting with no other business to be discussed. Do I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Thank you. Do I have a second?
Second.
Thank you. Our meeting is adjourned. Oh, Lumonte. It's Lumonte Banquet and Catering. I forget the street. Lumanti. And I can tell you the address.